In 2017, was it Bruno Mars's "That's the Way"? That's what I like. Despacito, Closer.
Despacito.
Despacito. No, Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran had a good one that year.
Ed
Shape
Sheeran.
of You. Shape of You. I go with Shape of You. That was huge.
Shape of You.
But Despacito was global.
Yeah, Despacito.
Yeah,
Despacito is incorrect. It was Ed Sheeran's "Shape of You."
Is this only in the U.S.?
What? No, it's Billboard.
Is only in the U.S.?
The pop culture question right over all of us.
It's Billboard's top 100.
Retiring from pop culture. Did it. Dropped the lavalier mic. Yep, got one and I'm done.
One and done. I sat there with my mouth shut the entire time. I'm like, y'all have at it. And you did really good, John Hanson.
Yeah, top song of 2017. I pulled that out of nowhere.
Oh my goodness.
Well, welcome
it was
to the jam,
a lucky guess.
everybody. Yeah, it's John, usually lucky. That's John Hanson, if you haven't figured out. Felicia Lawrence, I'm Amy Rutledge. Thanks for joining us. Lots more of that to come. All right, guys. Hey, so new tonight, they're talking about changing the name of Lakeshore Drive. It's something they've been talking about for a little over a year now. An ordinance is going to be brought up tomorrow during the committee meeting for Chicago's transportation. So here's a suggested name. Tell me what you think. Jean-Baptiste Pont du Sable Drive. It's a mouthful, but so is Lakeshore Drive, to be honest. So thoughts. First settler of color in Chicago.
Right. Yeah. The person who founded Chicago, who's credited with founding Chicago. So first of all, we got to get the name right. So I always said Jean-Baptiste Pont du Sable. So
that's what I call it too.
But I mean, that's going to be something that if this does ring true, we're going to have an official pronunciation and a pronouncer under the name on every street sign.
But doesn't that actually fit in perfectly, Felicia, with Chicago? Like Throop. How do you say that one, right? Like we have so many street names in Chicago that nobody can pronounce, right?
That's so true.
Right.
I am for this. Obviously, I love this. But however, I just feel like LSD is so iconic. It's in so many songs. It's in so much stuff. Like choose Michigan Avenue. Find a different street.
I agree.
I just think it's going to be a very long street sign. So that's going to take out of the budget, to be sure. All right, guys, let's dive into some more. Yes, exactly. Let's dive into some, unfortunate numbers here. Chicago's COVID cases are ticking up just a little bit, and experts say this could be the beginning of the post-Thanksgiving spike that they were expecting. An average of 1,600 new cases a day. That's just in the city of Chicago, about a 2% bump up in the 7-day positivity rate. Not where the peak was early in November, but back towards that direction. So city officials warning that while deaths haven't peaked, obviously those are kind of a lagging indicator. As for vaccine plans, they rolled out some vaccine plans here today for the city. Initial doses will be sent to the city's 34 hospitals for workers, which makes sense. Then residents and staff of long-term healthcare facilities, they've had so many problems in those. Then individuals at high risk due to medical condition, if you're 65 or older, and workers in critical jobs is kind of a larger group. But what about journalists? I'm sure a lot of people are like, what about my profession? What about this profession? And there was this interesting debate. The National Press Photography Association says that journalists should be part of Phase 1B because of the critical work they do and the direct contact with the public on a regular basis. I wanted to bring Brandon Pope into this discussion too, because he got a little bit heated before we were talking about this. But should journalists be a part of this pre-class of people that get it? Pope.
Yeah, I think they totally should. I think that especially not every journalist, but journalists who are on the front lines who have to cover COVID and actually be in the trenches, be in hospitals, be exposed to people that might have COVID. Yeah, I think it's important that they are vaccinated because it is an essential service having information and informing the public.
I agree with Brandon. Go ahead, Amy.
I totally agree with Brandon. Because I think it has to be, the healthcare industry reporters, because they are assigned, some of them have specific beats, general assignment reporters and photographers, because they have to be out there every day. We wouldn't have half the information we have right now if it wasn't for the people on the front lines being reporters to get the information. So they should be protected as well.
Yeah, the people in the field is how I would distinguish it. However, I just want to know, how do we actually implement that? And I guess the question is, how do we implement any of this? Like the healthcare workers, those are clear. Okay, we get those. But when you start going to phase 1B, healthcare workers are in phase 1A. When you get to 1B, I'm like, oh, it's starting to get a little gray, okay? Because then they were talking about transportation, grocery stores, gas station. Like the list starts getting long, and I don't know how this is going to be implemented.
There's no group of professionals that think they are way more mighty than journalists do over everybody else. I have to say that.
That's not true. With a lot that is so not true.
That's true. Yes, Amy, come on. Come on. High and mighty. Wait. Oh, yes.
You think journalists think they are high and mighty over doctors, over politicians. They cover them and they expect them to answer them honestly. That does not make them think that they are high and mighty over them. That is such a random thing to say.
Not over doctors, but I think that there are a lot of journalists out there that try and pretend that they're part of a different class than grocery store workers, than police officers, than politicians. This is a very broad discussion that goes beyond the vaccine, obviously. Yeah. But for me, it's like, I want the guy at the grocery store who's forced to be there to bag my groceries. He should get covered before any of us should get covered. We can do our jobs digitally. He can't.
Okay,
so John,
you and I, yes. But if it's a guy who's at the hospital getting you the COVID numbers every day, because that's what he does with his photographer, and you know what journalists make very much, right? Does he not deserve the vaccine just as much as that grocery store worker?
I get my numbers from Twitter, which are done via a digital press conference.
Is that
like, no, but look, there are people that were covering the protest, the George Floyd protest. Yes, they are in the field. They are doing that. That is important work. But I just think that so often we try and insert ourselves to the front of the line on so many things, when in reality, a lot of it can be done without that.
What do you think, Pete?
I think what you're hearing here is John Hanson on the record saying he hates the First Amendment. Attack him, everybody. John Hanson hates the First Amendment. He's an anti-media host. Go after him, Twitter. Yeah. Go after him.
The Supreme Court has ruled that journalists don't have any other rights to the First Amendment than any other average citizen, because what's a journalist? Is it just someone that's on TV? Just someone in the newspaper? What about a person that writes their family newsletter or posts on Instagram a lot? It's just a really hard class of people to distinguish of who they are.
But there are accredited journalists, John, and you know this just as well. There are accredited journalists and there are vloggers, there are bloggers, there are different classifications, and you should know this. And so the accredited journalists who have their credits and have the credits through their city so that they are notable journalists, those are the people who are on the front lines with a lot of these frontline workers. Those are the people who are also putting their families in danger to make sure that you have the information that you need that is actually real information, not some idiot on Twitter spouting off about something that may or may not be true. So please don't tell me the real information.
That's a fair point.
I think the real answer lies within the middle of what you guys are saying. I mean, and I guess that's where our place is right now. Not in the front of the line, not necessarily in the back of the line.
Ooh, Amy and I are going to be texting about this later.
I'm going to get all fired up now.
Love you, boo.
Love you too. All right, so it's a very hard transition, but let's talk about something a little bit more fun. So in Russia, I don't know if you guys saw today that they are warning, their health officials are warning people who've gotten the COVID vaccine, they shouldn't drink for like 2 more months because it could interfere with their immune system as it adjusts to that vaccine. To be fair, the Russian vaccine is not the same one we got here in the US. It's different. They push it through a little bit quicker. The testing is completely different. We don't know about that. But it's interesting because you think about the vaccine, you being out drinking, and, some things with long COVID have turned into some, dating things like, hey, baby, why don't you go wash your hands so you can come hold my hand? So some pickup lines are coming amongst all of this.
I like that. Yeah, let's pivot to the pickup lines and get Krista and Brandon in here to talk about what those best pickup lines may be. Krista, what's your favorite pickup line?
Okay, so mine isn't too fancy, but it would be, hey, want a Peloton ride together? And I say this one because it happened to me, and now I have a boyfriend and we Peloton together. No.
But see,
that's how it happened. But Peloton really spiked. Yeah. And everyone was all about the Peloton early March, and we're a total quarantine story, so...
well, if you have to explain the joke, it's not good. So here are mine. One ply, two ply, neither. The only thing I'm looking for is your reply. Aha.
That's
the only stimulus package you need ain't coming from the Senate. It's coming straight to your house. Hey-o.
Hello.
One more. Stay home if you're sick. Come over if you're thick. Hey-o.
Oh, okay, that's a good one. That's the
God,
one.
there's for
That's a good
you.
one. That's a good one.
No, that last one can get it.
Oh,
So,
my gosh.
I will say, they always say if you can make someone laugh, then you got them, okay? You got them hooked. So those are cute, but I still like the plain and simple ones. I like the one that Krista had. But I'll say mine isn't as creative. I would say we don't have to take our mask off to do what we do.
Oh,
Not so much
okay.
what you say, is how you say it.
Yeah. You did that good. Pope, bring us
I'll
home.
get
What are
mine
you
in real
gonna
quick because
do?
we're running out of time. I would say I don't have a pickup line because, when you got swag, who needs them? You just look them in the eye and say, hey.
He
what
forgot
it
to come
do?
up with one. He didn't prepare for the segment. That's what
You're right.
happened
I
there,
totally agree with you,
everyone.
John.
Yeah.
No,
We
no,
agree
I
on
just
that,
don't do
Amy.
pickup lines.
Wrap up.
Oh, boy.
Amy, you have to tell
Hey,
me
guys,
yours in the break.
coming up, guys, just ahead, parents of CPS students, they got one big complaint about this school year. I'm going to tell you what it is and how the district is responding when we come back. More of the Jam after this. Krista, what's good?
B, don't listen to them. We're millennials. We don't need fancy pickup lines. We're good. And
Who
guys,
uses
later
pickup
on,
lines?
we don't need them. Later on, I'll have the top trends in music that we all gravitated towards in 2020 later in the show. We'll be right back.
and the FTC are suing Facebook over what they call illegal power grabs to take out tech rivals. And the House has voted to fund the government for another week to avoid a shutdown. They hope this gives them time on COVID relief and a new spending deal. Something else to put on your radar here. Despite numerous complaints, Chicago Public Schools say they have no plans to reduce screen time for students. They say any parents that are concerned about that screen time should consider opting in to coming back to the classroom. CEO Dr. Janice Jackson argues students have already lost too much time in the past year from the teacher strike and the pandemic shutdowns. The current plan right now, students are in class for 2 days a week. And other news, complaints are mounting at a Kenwood affordable apartment complex over poor conditions. This is how it's looking at the Ellis Lakeview apartments. We're talking about rats, mice, mold, and brown water, and a broken elevator that's forcing older residents to climb flights of stairs. The garbage chute is backed up. 24 tenants have sent all these complaints to the HUD, and they say nothing has happened yet to fix it. What are your thoughts, y'all?
I mean, let's be real, this is happening because these are poor people, which is unfortunate because everyone should have access to clean water. The fact that they're having brown water, not having working elevators, like those are some things that can be a little farther down on the list. But I don't see how any of this happens. They're saying that they're continuously failing inspections and it's just no change, no action behind it. They're following the court procedures and it's not making sense to me.
Yeah, and Felicia, we kind of talked offline too. I'm confused how they are so stringent on some housing places, and then others are so loosey-goosey. Wonder who owns the building. What's the backstory on that? Because I was also confused, like who's in charge of certain things within the building, and it just sounds like they're just breaking a ton of rules and nobody cares.
Yeah, so we talked about this a little bit earlier with because I have some housing, some low-income housing, and with the government, so they do the inspections. You have to follow up on that in order to continue receiving the checks. So how is this company, which it says the property manager is based out of New York, how is the company named Apex? How are they still getting the government funding? It just seemed like it should be happening a lot faster, particularly when we have health and safety on the line.
Yeah, you guys said it well there. And credit again to journalists. I will give journalists credit for pushing the story. No, but really, because of journalists breaking this story and really doing a good job on it, hopefully it raises the attention. That looks like a third world country. That is unacceptable in the richest nation in the world for that to be happening.
Nice neighborhood Chicago too. It's just insane. Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, we got much more coming up, talking about an iconic Christmas song and how some major stars are going to be blowing it up at a really cool special. Stick around. We'll be right back. She has one of the most powerful voices you will ever hear, and now Shelea is bringing her sound to an extraordinary CW special coming up called Silent Night, A Song for the World. Singer, songwriter, musician Shelea here with us today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
This sounds like an amazing performance. Just, I mean, amazing.
Wow. Well, you know, honestly, Christmas is my favorite time of the year. And I remember wanting to be an artist just to be able to record Christmas music. So this is the perfect project for me. And of course, to be on it with so many other incredible artists, Kelly Clarkson, Catherine McPhee, you know, David Foster, who is such a dear friend of mine. It's such a dream come true. Greg Gaines, who I did the song together with. So it's a dream come true.
So let's explain it to a little bit for our audience. So this is literally a show about the song Silent Night, which is pretty historic in itself, and part of that's portrayed in the show, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's this beautiful, beautiful story which you will see unfold, and you see how powerful the song is and just how it stood the test of time, because it's going to be performed in all these different countries, different languages, different genres, and just seeing just the beauty and the core of what this song really is and represents, that it's going to be with us forever.
Now, how were you guys able to do the whole show? Is it part of it at home? Is part of it in a studio? I'm assuming you guys weren't all together at one point, at least during COVID.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course it was, as you will see, it'll show the behind the scenes as well. It was kind of performed in different places all around the world. I actually performed mine at Capitol Records right here in Los Angeles with Greg Gaines. And, you know, we were very, very careful. Everybody, very, very strict regulations and making sure we were all safe, and was able to really create something very beautiful.
Man, it sounds like you have had a pretty good year for 2020 being what it was. Recently starred as one of the Clark sisters on Lifetime, which is just huge. I know your third album's been out. Quincy Jones, Stevie Wonder's your agent. I mean, you have just this huge following behind you.
You know, I have been so blessed, and thank you so much for saying that. I think especially in these times, I mean, it's been so difficult for all of us, you know, really I just think about every person has been affected. I don't care what industry you're in. And so to not be able to tour, to not be able to connect with my fans in the way that I'm used to, I still feel so blessed because I found another way, you know. Virtually has been just incredible, just to be able to do so many shows that way. But yeah, I'm having a good time. I'm loving just being able to use my gifts and bring light, especially now.
Yeah, I mean, with this big gospel voice you have, I don't know why you're not in Chicago more often. We are the home of gospel music.
I know, and I actually have a lot of family in Chicago, so shout out to the Frasers in Chicago.
Well, man, just hearing some of your music, your voice is absolutely amazing. I know the show is going to be amazing. Thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, and have a wonderful, wonderful holiday.
Thank you. You too. And you can watch Silent Night, A Song for the World, this Thursday beginning at 7 p.m. on CW26.
Awesome. And so is this, okay? 'Tis the season to show off your holiday lights. Snap a photo, send it to us at CW26chicago.com. We're partnering with ComEd's Energy Efficiency Program to bring holiday lights from around the area. So here are a few photos that were sent to us, okay? We got this home in Bartlett.
Oh, that's a good one.
Beautiful family sent that one in. They did a good job. Fun,
Nice.
Classic, we like. And then Evergreen Park
so
holding down the southwest side.
Oh yeah, they're doing it.
Really
They're doing
cool.
it.
And this family from Homer Glen sent this.
Whoa.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. Overachievers. Now that's,
Are you going to say that
that's
family
absolutely
name too,
beautiful.
Felicia? Can you get that one?
I'm going to pass on that. It's right there on your screen. But you know what? These are the families we appreciate. We appreciate these because you drive down the street. These are the streets you want to drive by. You guys send us your stuff, okay?
Yes.
Send us your photos. We'll feature your images on air and on our social media.
Felicia's going to be mad at me now too.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
Welcome to Molly's.
Hi, welcome to Molly's Cupcakes South Loop. I'm the executive pastry chef here, Fallon. So Molly's Cupcakes was founded by our original owner, John, who opened the Lincoln Park location. It was named Molly's Cupcakes after their third grade teacher who loved baking cupcakes for them. The reason our cupcakes get so popular is because they're so unique. So many of them are center filled with different flavors. They're made fresh daily and they're made with so much love. And people just love coming back for them. Every day we make hundreds of cupcakes to sell. Most of them are filled. We have ones filled with cake batter, ones filled with cookie dough, butterscotch, Samoa filling. We have so many options to choose from, also delicious. They're all made fresh. We do have such a moist vanilla cake and moist chocolate cake and just so many different flavors. The special occasions we do things for, we do so many birthday parties, small weddings, anniversaries, and a big one right now has been our gender reveals. So we can do any custom cupcakes here. If you want to send us a photo or something like that, we can make sure to get it to your exact specifications for you. After getting a ton of requests for cakes, we recently started doing all different kinds of cakes. We do 6-inch, 9-inch, and 12-inch, and we can turn any of our center-filled cupcakes into those custom cakes. We can also do any customizations to the cakes you want, so if you need anything written on them or any special decorations, we've got you covered there too. And if cupcakes aren't your thing, we also have so many delicious treats. We have Rice Krispie treats, 7-layer bars, cheesecakes, as well as our huge variety of delicious cookies. We started with our Lincoln Park location, and since then we've spread to 4 city locations as well as a location in Naperville, and we are just continuing to grow to keep everyone sweet. We've been able to stay open during these really challenging times every day of the week with much support from the South Loop neighborhood. We've gotten really blessed with how much support they've been giving us, so thank you guys for that. We would just really like to thank all of the Chicagoans for really supporting our bakery during this time, as well as all other small businesses. Stay sweet, everyone.
There's the cupcakes and the show. Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. on CW26. We'll be back.
Oh boy, it is Wednesday. It has been a fun Wednesday thus far here on the Jam. I hope you've been watching.
I just knew you were going to give us. I knew you were going to give us a hump day, and you didn't.
Hump day.
Hump day.
I'm Amy Rutledge, alongside John Hanson and Felicia Lawrence.
Hey guys, Hanukkah starts tomorrow night officially at sundown, of course, lasting 8 nights. The Jewish holiday commemorates the miracle of the one-day oil supply lasting 8 days after a big revolt in the 2nd century BC. I did have to look that up. I will admit that. I didn't know the entire history of Hanukkah. So look, you see how we spell it right here on this lower third, Hanukkah. If that doesn't look right to you, you are not alone, because there are 24 accepted ways of spelling Hanukkah. They had a really cool write-up about the fact that, it's a Hebrew name, which makes sense, of course, but there's no really direct good translation into English. And even the trend of how we spell Hanukkah has changed and ebbed and flowed over the years. And this spelling that we're using here is the most widely accepted now, and especially over the last 5 years. Remember, there was a lot of people that spell it with a C. That used to be really popular just like 5 or 10 years ago. 5 or 10 years ago. And now that's going away. I guess it's getting less used. Google did a whole analytical thing about how it's spelled, but 24 different ways. So there you go.
I just think it's good. I think it's cool, not to give us a pat on the back, but give us a pat on the back and encourage other people to also have these conversations, because for a country that's supposed to have religious freedoms, there's also a thing such as religion privilege. We only focus on Christianity and Catholicism, and it's so much more than that.
Or religious ignorance. There's that too.
Hey, that's another word for it.
Another.
For sure.
All right. Pivoting slightly, time to weigh in. A British mom is taking some heat for tattooing one of her twins so she can tell them apart. But some details here that are very important. One of them requires daily injections. So grandma, babysitting, accidentally injected the wrong baby one day. So mom's solution, per a doctor's suggestion, was to put a little bitty freckle tattoo on one of the babies so she can tell them apart. Some say it's going too far. I'll let you weigh in.
Yeah, well, I initially did think it was too far. I thought it was unfair. I don't have a tattoo, but I think they kind of hurt. They're a little uncomfortable, but I guess you're talking about the baby's health. I mean, Amy, you have twins. You weigh in.
Well, first of all, mine got circumcised right away, and I got to imagine that's probably way more painful than a little baby tattoo. So here are my little guys when they were, before they were a year old. And so Quentin is on the right, Miles is on the left. And I only know because Quentin, we always put in stripes. Like San Quentin prison, like he was in jail. So Quentin was in the stripes, Miles was not. So that's how every single picture, Quentin was in stripes.
I hope you're saving.
We could tell them apart.
I hope you're saving for therapy for once that story comes out to when he can understand that. It's not like she put a tramp stamp on one of the babies. I know, that's what I'm saying. Who cares? It's the littlest thing. If you worry about your own children before you start worrying about what some mom does to keep her kids safe. Come on, people.
Yeah.
I mean,
Amy, were you ever concerned that you might forget who was designated the stripes? Like Miles had stripes, or did Quentin have stripes? Who had stripes?
Petrified for the first month. We didn't take their hospital bands off them because they said baby A and baby B. They were almost digging into their skin, and I was like, okay, we got to find a better solution than this. And then we came up with the striped salad thing. But even then, they were never naked at the same time for probably 2 years. Never naked.
Wow.
We bathed them separately. We were like.
You know what's amazing though, Amy? And I know you probably didn't do this, and we've talked about this before, but imagine if one time they were switched, you would never know. You would never know.
Never know.
That is
Can't tell them apart in
that's
pictures.
a thinker. That's a thinker.
And it's okay.
I know, just feels bad. True.
There's no way we'd miss your coronation. And thought you were a little surprised.
I hope it's okay that we're here. Nick Sagar is winning the hearts of many this holiday season with his role in the Netflix rom-com The Princess Switched again. He joins me now to talk a little bit more about that, and plus maybe give us a little bit of a spoiler on part 3 if we're lucky. No compromises. But Nick, thank you so much for joining us. And this movie is getting so much buzz. You play the opposite of Vanessa Hudgens. How were you approached to get this role?
I was actually extremely grateful, but very lucky too. I was doing a show called Queen of the South, and my time was coming up to near where I was finished. Didn't quite know what the next project was going to be, and I had worked with the director, Mike Roll, before on Shadowhunters, and he had reached out. He said he was working on this new project, and he had me in mind for it. And they reached out to my people and said, would you be interested? I found out who was involved, Vanessa, Sam. I read the script and found out it was about Christmas too. And I was like, well, I'm there, sign me up. I don't need no more information.
In the beginning of Princess Switched, it was filmed in Chicago. So I gotta ask, was that an actual bakery that's here in the city? Did you guys get to explore?
Can I burst the bubble?
I think you have to now.
We wasn't really in Chicago. We was in Romania. Yeah, we was actually in Romania, and that part that they made look like Chicago was a small town in the north of Romania, I believe, called Carai, which was amazing. But we rented this. There was a store just on the edge of the city that they decked out and made look like Chicago, and yeah, it was Romania.
Oh my gosh. I mean, first of all, mind-blowing. Second of all, technology, okay? But at least it gave us Chicagoans something to be proud of for a little bit until this interview, until it's like, nah.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
No, I'm just kidding. Nick, I gotta ask, because obviously we've seen this kind of in like the Parent Trap, right? Where it's like, you have one person playing 2 different roles. Was it difficult? Is it difficult to play someone? Is there a stunt double?
Well, I think the difficulty would have been on Vanessa. For us, it was a lot easier. She's a trooper. Because we would film one scene when we would have to film it several times, because we would have a double standing in for her, and then we'd switch and she'd film the other side. For us, it wasn't as challenging. I mean, for her, it didn't even look challenging because she just takes it in her stride. She's an incredible professional. And they made it so easy for us. I can't speak for her because, she had to run and change and hair and makeup and come back. But the cast and crew were really good at figuring out the best ways, the quickest ways.
No, that's amazing. That's good to know. And obviously we talked about this. You're about to start filming part 3 in Scotland. And a spoiler alert for anyone watching this, you and Margaret get married. Could we see some babies?
I hope so.
That's the idea, right?
I don't want to give away too much, but I'd hope so. That'd be fun.
You can keep up with Nick on social media and watch The Princess Switched again, now on Netflix.
The actress January Jones is sparring back at the National Enquirer. Apparently, they're going to run a story which reports January Jones, quote, has worried friends with her bikini pics on Instagram. So she has this photo here in response, and she said, they discovered my secret, considering this is my public apology to my friends. And so she's basically just flicking people off on Instagram. And here's the National Enquirer, what they were saying about it. It's just a lot. The whole thing is weird just because that's how you use Instagram. Instagram is extremely vain. A lot of people are posting personal photos like that. Like, that's just what happens. Why single her out?
Well, 2 things here. A, the letter the National Enquirer sent her, or the email they sent her, it's kind of, I mean, I'm a little surprised that they went in that hard. Like, your friends are worried about you. You're doing this on social media. It's a little weird to me. And if you look at her Instagram, she posts these pictures all that often. So I don't know where that came from. I love the response, though. Chrissy Teigen got involved, and she's like, I've been worried, LOL. It was really cute.
I'm surprised the National Enquirer is going so hard on January Jones. She's someone that I had to Google to remember who she was.
Yeah.
And we had to tell Felicia who she was. No offense to Felicia. I rarely know someone that you don't know. I'm just saying that.
Felicia did not know, honey.
Yeah, why does the National Enquirer give to, I mean, I guess that's their job, right? To create all this noise. I love the flicking off. I don't even really like January Jones all that much and anything she's done, but I'm a new fan. I'm going to follow her, and I hope she posts bikini pics, even though they do nothing for me.
Don't you feel like that letter from the Enquirer was almost kind of threatening? Like, respond, because this is like,
it gave some insight, and it gave some insight to why people feel so panicked when they get a letter like something like that, if they're a little bit more worried about it. But you know, the more people I think that expose them for what they do, but they're never going to go anywhere. I was like going to be like, maybe we'll stop caring about what people think about celebrities and tabloids, and I'm like, we're America. We like all the juicy gossip. Now, hold on. Should people from the National Enquirer get a vaccine shot before anyone else?
No.
Sorry.
Their
All right, let's go
stories do not impact our lives.
I'm dropping it, Brandon.
All right,
I'm dropping it. Brandon, over to you.
John just can't let it go. My God. Well, guys, global pandemic or not, basketball is still happening, but you may be surprised what prominent voices in the sport are actually saying that may not be a good idea. We'll talk about it in News You Need to Know. Krista, I'm going to assist over to you. You shoot any hoops?
Come on. No, I'm not good at sports. Thank you, though, Brandon. What I am good at is TikTok. And this new TikTok challenge has people doing absolutely bizarre things, and 2 Chicagoans got in on it. I'll have that story in just a minute trending. We'll be right back.
Brandon Pope here with the news you need to know. Chicago rapper G Herbo has pleaded guilty to federal fraud charges. He faces up to 6 years in prison if he's convicted. Minneapolis is going to soon vote on whether to cut their police budget after George Floyd's death. It's a move the mayor of the city is staunchly against. They are actually in that meeting right now. And a Royal Caribbean cruise from Singapore came to an end 1 day early after a passenger tested positive for COVID-19. Upon further review, they think it may have been a false positive test. SpaceX is touting a successful launch today, but the landing, not so successful. The SN8 prototype rocket exploded upon impact at SpaceX's Texas facility. flames. Even though it exploded, SpaceX founder Elon Musk took to Twitter. He said it went perfect and added, "Mars, here we come." Not sure I'd call that perfect, but hey, to each their own. I'm not a rocket scientist. Prominent coaches in pro and college basketball are raising doubts about playing in a pandemic. The NBA barely just ended, and they are already set to play on December 22nd with a whole new season. Doc Rivers, the new Philadelphia 76ers basketball coach and a championship coach, he says without a bubble, quote, "I'm very concerned if we can actually pull this off." And then Coach K, the legendary Coach K from Duke, says college hoops is trying to plow through it and get as many games in as they can. He says the sport should, quote, "assess where we're at for mental and physical health of players and staff." Now, people have been saying, okay, Coach K, you're saying all that because you just lost to Illinois. Your team's not that good, so you don't feel as confident about the season anymore. But I think it comes from a good place. Coach K is a good guy, and I think genuinely he's seeing around him that you had 3 games canceled with this ACC Big Ten Challenge. You're having numerous games canceled across the board and no plan set in place for the NCAA and these basketball players. So, of course, there's lots of room for concern when you're just kind of rushing into things without a guideline or plan.
I will say, before college football season, I had no problem with them canceling the season. Brandon, you were against that because your Ohio State Buckeyes ended up cheating their way into the championship game. Now that Illinois basketball is good, I feel you, Brandon. Now I'm like, wait, now hold on. We're still playing 80% of these games. Illinois is a good team. Let's let this play out. And that's exactly right. Coach K said before the season started that the NCAA could not afford to lose another season. Now they're 2-2, and now he's like, well, actually, I don't know.
I don't think they should be playing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel you on that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just no foolproof way to do it. The NBA has 82 regular season games, and then the add-on playoffs. It's just too much. It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting that the NCAA has a plan for March Madness, it seems. They want to do it all in the state of Indiana, high school gyms, local gyms, but still no plan for getting to that, right? The regular season. What's up with that?
Yeah.
How about those Buckeyes, though? They changed the rules for the Big Ten to get them into the game. That's ridiculous.
It helps the entire conference. I think
Bye.
they would have done it for Illinois if they were good.
No worry of that.
All right, guys, I got the top trends of all the Spotify music that we all pumped in 2020 because I all know we were leaning on music a little bit more than usual. At least I was. So you can see this. We're putting it on our website and Facebook, and you can check it out later in the show, or I'm sorry, after the show. And if you guys want more music, we've got the 2020 iHeartRadio Jingle Ball. It's coming to CW26. Do not miss your favorite iconic holiday songs being performed from the homes of today's top artists like Billie Eilish, Doja Cat, Dua Lipa, Harry Styles, The Weeknd, and more. All my faves. Tune in Monday, December 14th at 7 p.m. on CW26. And the 2020 iHeartRadio Jingle Ball is brought to you locally in part by Berdoliak Law Group. And guys, we've got to talk about this latest TikTok trend, okay? So people are making videos that says, if Miley Cyrus comments on this, I'll do X. So these two Chicago girls, you won't believe what they did. I caught up with them today. Take a look.
We were thinking of doing something crazy and we were like, wait, we should actually do something we can follow through on. And I had already had my nipples pierced, so I was like, wait, guys, let's say that, so then you guys get your nipples pierced and we actually can all have our nipples pierced if Miley comments.
So then essentially we posted it, and it was kind of like, oh, there's no way that this is gonna blow up, whatever. And then we only had 200 views, and then she commented. There were literally
only 27
views,
comments.
and 27
I posted
comments.
Another TikTok with that in the back, and she her comment had 3 likes. There were only 27 comments.
And we didn't even realize.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm just baffled. 200 views and she saw it. That is so cool.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And then it blew up from there, obviously.
Unbelievable. Miley Cyrus commented with 200 views. So apparently she has yet to comment on the new video of them actually getting their nipples pierced. But she should, because these are girls that actually followed through. And, here's our lovely graphics team blurring out their nipple piercings. But they did it. I can assure you guys they did it. So it's crazy. I mean, you should see what these people are doing on TikTok. Some people are saying, if Miley Cyrus comments on this, whatever she comments the baby name, I will name my baby that from a pregnant woman. People will shave their heads. I mean, there's more simpler things like if Miley Cyrus comments on this, I will tell my crush I like them. And she comments, what's his name? What's her name? So she really had fun with this, but it's unbelievable that people are actually going and doing it.
Look at their face.
I feel like I just got dumber.
You're over millennials now. They're like, what in the millennial is happening here?
Generation Z,
because Miley Cyrus says so?
Generation Z puts the wreck in Wrecking Ball. That's all I'll say.
Thank you. God, it's good.
Oh, guys, check us out on social.
Who wrote Jay?
Who's Jay?
Did I do that?
I don't know. It just says
We're
Jay.
back
I'm
in
like,
studio. We're back in studio. Everybody now.
And it's just still us 3.
Thank you guys.
No one helping us out. Me, Felicia, and Krista, and Amy just staring there, just like dancing in the studio normally.
I'm there to catch you if you fall. I got the band-aids. I'll catch you if you fall.
Okay, we're going to play a little game of like, follow, delete. All right, so we got 3 celebrities with the same first name. You have to pick who you'd press like on, who you would follow, and who you delete. This is a spin-off of the game that the rest of us know, okay? I'm sure we know. All right, I don't even know who should be going first. I'm going to go Felicia and hope it works out. All right, Felicia.
Okay.
Like, follow, delete. Who you got? Let's see them.
Okay.
Jennifer Aniston. Oh, wait. Let's do this, Brandon. Let's do it with the ladies. Jennifer Aniston, Jennifer Lawrence, or Jennifer Coolidge? Who you liking? Who you following? Who you deleting?
You want me to go on this one?
Yeah, because you're
Okay, I don't know who Jennifer Coolidge is, so I'll delete her.
Oh, no.
Bye.
I will follow Jennifer Lawrence and like Jennifer Aniston. How about that?
That's good.
Jennifer
I do have
Coolidge
one
is like
question.
a sex kitten.
Oh, you deleted the wrong one there, Brandon.
Right.
You could have had her.
Did I?
Yeah.
I thought it was Calvin Coolidge's wife, the former president from the 1920s. By the way, just really quickly before we go in, is like kiss and follow is like marry? Like okay, all right. I didn't want to follow. So follow is the more committed one. Just making sure.
Follows
All right, let's go. Yeah. All right, let's go Felicia next. Justin Timberlake, Justin Bieber, Justin Hartley.
That's hard.
Is Hartley in that This Is Us show, or was he married to that girl out of Selling Sunset? Nobody knows. Okay.
This Is Us? He might be This Is Us. Now that you say that.
Well, I want to follow Justin Timberlake because, I mean, I would like to do more than follow Justin Timberlake. So we'll leave that there. I'll like Justin Bieber and then Justin Hartley just because we can't figure out what he's from. I need a picture.
He gone. All right, Krista, you are up next. You are going with Ashley Olsen, Ashley Simpson, or Ashley Judd. I could also tackle this one if you'd prefer. Actually, no, this doesn't work for me either. But do it. 2020.
Like none of them are really too appealing. Like I'm not a big fan of any of them, but I'm not a fan, you know? So they could really all just fit in any category. I'll just go in order. Ashley Olsen, I like you. Ashley Simpson, follow, and sorry, Miss Judd.
Bye-bye.
Deleted.
All right, Amy, you got a few seconds left. Who you liking, following, deleting out of these Georges?
I will like George Bush. I will follow George Clooney, and I will delete George Lopez based on some rumors I've heard that might be or might not be true. And they might not be true, and I could be completely wrong, but they were not good. So I'm going to
delete George Lopez might make you laugh.
George Bush?